Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast, back from his trip through the woods in New Hampshire, and we are looking at Game 6. We have a Game 6 in the Western Conference Finals after the Clips pulled off a pretty nice offensive performance and really solid defensive performance there to take the W on the road, bring things back to LA. We'll jump into what that series looks like now and some Game 6 odds and props. As always, though, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to FDPicks.com or DKPicks.com. Find all those listings and playoff promos in your area. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page as well. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you guys think is happening and will happen in Game 6. And Nate, let's go ahead and jump into all things Game 6.
Yeah, it's safe to say Vegas won't be giving the Clips 5 points again. We correctly identified that was a wrong line, and it turned out to be. So +1 is LAC at home for Game 6. Even money on the money line for either team, really. And the total is 214.5. The Clippers continue to win with their backs against the wall. And now we go back to Staples Center, where they've been very impressive. They have a 10.5 net rating and a 106 defensive rating their last 4 home games, won 3 out of those. Very slow pace in those games, just 93 possessions on average. And the Suns, their defense travels as well, which we saw in the last edition of this game, this series at the Staples Center. So I am still looking at the under. I see Game 5 as a little bit of an anomaly in terms of how well Paul George shot, 15 for 20 from the field. I mean, great performance from him to step up with his team back against the wall, but he's not doing that again. Like to see more Mikal Bridges on him than Jay Crowder, and I think that would definitely make a difference. And Marcus Morris just getting cooking early on, as the Suns kind of were taken aback by the small ball play of the Clippers. We talked at the beginning of the series how the Clippers exposed Rudy Gobert, went small, took control of that series late. We didn't think it could happen to DeAndre Ayton, but with Zubac out, it kind of took Monty Williams and company by surprise, I think, right? And they didn't have a plan in place for how to keep Ayton on the floor, have him defend the way he has been. As a result, Marcus Morris really got cooking early, 20 points in the first half after he had 25 in the series. And the Clips are 7-0 when they can get Mook to shoot 50% or better in these playoffs. Also dominated in the paint, 58-32 in paint points. I just think that Phoenix, they kind of sleptwalked through that early, and I think their defense will be better tonight. It's just uncharacteristic for this Suns team to allow the opposition to shoot 55% from the floor. I don't think there's any way they let that happen again. And the Clips are defending on the other side, so I don't think we're getting over 214 in a Game 6 that might feel like a Game 7 in some ways.
Nate, I think we're about to disagree for the first time in recent memory. I think through the playoffs, we felt pretty similarly. I'm actually going to go outside the company line of unders in these playoffs as we've been continuing to hit them. I mean, they've hit at an incredible rate. So kudos to everyone who's just putting their money on the under every time in these playoffs. But at this point, the anomaly that was Game 5 was because Zubac wasn't in there. I think Jeff Van Gundy sort of said at the beginning of the series, he thought Ty Lue seemed like he was playing his lineups in a tentative manner to sort of test things out, see how things were going to go. And in Game 5, he made a huge adjustment in terms of, obviously, he didn't have Zubac, so that was an easy adjustment to make. But then it worked out incredibly well in the way that he flip-flopped, to your point. When it was the second unit on for the Clips, he had DeMarcus Cousins bullying the littler Saric. And when DeAndre Ayton was on the floor with the first unit, right, he didn't have any big guys on the floor. And as a result, you saw DeAndre Ayton's defensive rating jump to 126. You saw the points in the paint flop entirely in the series, to your point, with the specifically Paul George and Marcus Morris getting into the paint a ton, scoring almost the team itself scored half their points in the paint for the Clips, which is incredible when you consider what Ayton's been doing. But he's been guarding in Game 5, he guarded Nicholas Batum and Terrence Mann 8 minutes of offense for the Clips, which means that he was either standing in the corner guarding Batum or he was getting put on an island with Terrence Mann on the wing. And then he also stepped up on guys like Paul George and Pat Bev. And that's just not where, that's not a matchup for him anywhere out on the wing. He's been able to do that against, middle, bigger wing players that aren't as quick as these littler guys, but he can't stay out there against Pat Bev and even Terrence Mann. And then also he's not in the paint, right, to defend the way that Paul George and Marcus Morris were getting in there. Marcus Morris was bullying guys like Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges. So we'll see, to your point, if Paul George is not necessarily going to shoot 15 of 20 from the field, 8 of 8 from the line. But I do think that if Zubac continues to sit, what we like is Paul George's rebounds. In the last 3 games, even when Zubac was there for 2 of them, he's got 44 rebounds in 3 games. He had, I believe, 13 in this last game. So, and he's had 15 in the series as well. So I think you continue to look for his rebounds. And then you have to consider that, Reggie Jackson and Paul George are going to continue to carry a ton of the load on offense. I like Reggie Jackson to get 20 points once again, especially without Zubac in there to clog things up in the middle. I think that's going to be another storyline in this game. And to your point, the Suns are look really bad on offense right now. And why is, I don't want to blame it on Chris Paul. It's obviously been since he's come back in these last 3 games. The effect that he's had is taking a lot of shots that he's missing as his legs don't necessarily still, seem to be there still after COVID. And then you've got guys like Jay Crowder, Cam Payne, and Mikal Bridges, who are all scoring a ton of points. You saw the ball moving a lot. And they've all regressed incredibly, about 4 points less each of them per game in the last 3 than they were scoring in the playoffs since Chris Paul returned. So I'm scared of the under, to be honest with you, because I think the small ball and the pace maybe creeping up a little bit for the Clips. And as I said, I think they're likely to win this game. I think this is going to go 7. As a result, I think you're going to go over 214.5 because of that small ball, way of playing in which the Clips are going to need to do if they're going to beat the Suns at 8.
No, I think we agree on that. I think we think the Clippers are both going to win, and I like the correlation that if they win, I think we can get over. And if you parlay those things with the money line on the Clippers and the over, you're getting plus 260. I definitely like that as a value bet.
For sure.
I think that the Suns, though, if it is a one-possession game or if they win, it's going to be under because that's the way this team is playing. That's the way they've been playing in the playoffs. And that's what they've proven they can do in this series is really muck it up so that you're not getting good shots at all if you're the Clippers. But Terrence Mann, I mean, just that is the key to that small ball lineup. He does not put up a lot of numbers in the box score, but his ability to rebound and then to attack, to expose bigs like Rudy Gobert and DeAndre Ayton, it's just so valuable. I think that will be the key. I like backing our guy Terrence Mann and the Clips to win Game 6 at home and give us one more exciting Western Conference Finals game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we both like this to go 7. Really looking forward to seeing what happens there. Conversely, I do think the Bucks are in. And right now, just because I like them a lot more, I would consider them over both of these teams in the West, to be honest with you. Just too many weapons. And as a result, my favorite bet, honestly, just throwing it out there, is Giannis right now to win the MVP of the NBA Finals. You still can get plus 120. That's going to drop dramatically. So making that call. or Quiet Chris, but we'll see what happens. Either way, looking forward to a hopeful Game 7, to be honest, as this series has been pretty fun between the Suns and the Clips. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you guys think is going to happen here. Are we going Game 7 or not? And we'll be back with another video as these playoffs roll on. And until then, happy betting.